Okay,
Hi.
perfect. Right, so welcome to the session. As you might already know, my name is Tanishka and I'll be taking the session with you for today. And I'm connecting with you from New Delhi. So that's a bit about me. Do you mind telling me a little about yourself?
Okay, hi Tanishka. My name is Arushi. I'm connecting to you from Nagpur, Maharashtra. I'm a working professional.
Right, and where do you work in? As in,
Yeah.
like, what sector? IT, fashion?
In finance sector.
Oh, you're working in finances. Fair enough. I hate
Yes.
numbers. I never understood numbers in school, also. But good for you that you understand it.
Yes.
Fair enough. Right.
What do
Uh,
you do, Tanishka?
What do I do? Okay, right. So I'm a student right now, but I do work with firms. I am about to start my master's in psychology. I have done my graduation in the same subject already. So right now I'm doing both English and psychology. English, I'm doing it on my own because I'm very well connected to the subject. I teach it on, well, various freelancing platforms, and apart from that I write content for other people, and apart from that I have worked with a couple of people in the field of psychology as well, like some senior psychologists and psychiatrists. So that's like the back end work, not the main therapy part because I'm not licensed to do that. But yeah, the back end work, yes.
Interesting. Like
Right.
how can you tell me something about psychology? Like why did you choose that subject and how do you find it interesting?
Right. Okay. Right. So, I had a proficiency in the subject when I started the subject, right? So I got to know from my teachers and people who have worked with me. They also told me the same thing, that you have a natural knack for this subject, so don't leave it. And I think I also related to it because I this subject very like came very naturally to me. I didn't have to work hard in it. I understood every concept very much easily. So I thought that, okay, maybe this is the sector that I want to land up in, because in any other thing I have to put in a lot of effort to understand things. So that was one reason. Secondly, I have always enjoyed listening to people. I've always enjoyed conversations. I've enjoyed empathizing with people and actually connecting with people. So that was another reason. And lastly, it's an interesting subject because you study a lot about the human mind. You study a lot about the problems the human mind faces. You study about a lot of positive aspects of human mind and how you can, alter certain thought processes and help people out. So the entire study material, the entire research material, especially the research in psychology, is very, very interesting. So I thought that I'll continue with it.
Yes. Wow, sounds good.
Right. Sorry, I gave a long essay to you for explaining.
No.
But fair enough. Right. And what about you? How did you land up in finance?
Okay, yeah, it was not planned. It's just that the go with the flow thing. I have completed my education in finance only in commerce, so I thought of why not taking it as a profession or a career. So that's how I'm here.
Right. So were you genuinely interested in it, or it was really just go with the flow? Like, is it like maybe at future you might want to change the field you're in because you might find something else interesting? Is it like that, or do you think finance is your area of interest?
Uh, No, no, I cannot say it's my area of interest only. Of course, I'm liking it for now. Previously I was like, okay, let's choose this and let's try this. Now it's going good, but again, if I find something interesting, so I'll jump to that because I like experimenting with things. And I think that if I'm doing good here, but if I'll choose something else later, maybe I'll do better there. So that's how it is.
Hmm, fair enough. Hey, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, that happens with, I think, most people. It's difficult to point out one interest. I think people usually are interested in multiple things. So, yeah, it's better to experiment and
Yes,
find something at every stage of life. And that way, life doesn't get monotonous, I think. So, that's definitely there.
right.
Fair enough. Right, okay. By the way, before I proceed ahead,
Yeah.
do you have any sorts of doubts, queries, questions, anything you want to ask?
Uh, no, no doubts for me.
All right, fair enough. Right. So, okay. With that, I'm going to proceed ahead with our topic for today. Right. So, we have two extempore topics. I'll write both of them down in the chat section. You can pick up any one that you are more comfortable with, and we'll go ahead with that one.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Just give me a moment. Right. So, these are the two topics that we have been provided with for today. So, you can pick up any one that you feel more comfortable with.
Okay, I think I would go with the first one. How can country like cope up with the impacts of COVID-19?
Right. Fair enough.
Um,
Right. So, what are your
I
views?
think I think the government should plan things for this because of course the government is running this country, and every now and then government comes up with new plans like
Yeah.
this and that. So I think they can better plan things, but what I think as a common citizen, what I think is, I think we should be more educated about the things going on around us, because mostly we are not aware about the plans or whatever is happening, like taxes, GST. We are just paying randomly, or some people are not paying their taxes. So these are the things, and other than that, on ground level, I think we should start uh, our own businesses with ideas, like whatever you have in your mind, just open up with your ideas, start your businesses. Like why always going with the jobs which people are providing you, because there
Yeah.
are lots of companies which are not Indians companies, those are
Yeah.
foreign companies, and we are working for them. So instead of working for them, I think Indians are more intellectual. They are very intelligent. They can form their own businesses, and they can hire people. So I think this is very basic. So we should start with this, and eventually it will somehow reach to that point. We can help economy to grow.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's a slow procedure, but it's workable. And I think people have adapted to it because, I mean,
Yeah.
nowadays you see everybody building their own startup, right? So everyone's out there trying to find a startup, trying to make up a business. So that's definitely there. I'm not sure, I'm not in the field, so I'm not sure if the government has been providing a lot of aid for it. But yeah, government has come up with schemes that sort of
Started.
not
Yes.
exactly, yeah, not exactly sponsor the startups, but it actually helps them with taxation and regulations and everything. So that's there. I think that can be helpful. But yeah, planning part that you mentioned in the
Yes.
beginning,
And
well, that's important.
absolutely.
Yeah, I think planning is something, well, the government lacks. We saw that in many of their decisions. So I hope it works well for the country.
Yeah, I think in COVID-19 only that happened, and we have seen a lot of it. Like planning was not there. Even now also, the cases are raising, but still there is no planning. It is like if if the cases will be like out of control, or the COVID again will be out of control, the government will wake up and say, okay, do this, and don't do this.
Yeah.
So I think it should not be like this. If you're running this whole show or the whole country, you should be more cautious about like how to take it further, or how to be more cautious.
Yeah, I think that's true.
That's
That's
all.
fair on their part, but that's true. I mean, the government, I mean, they didn't really plan, even in the initial stages they didn't plan the COVID was coming. For the first waves I can understand that they didn't know what happens when the wave comes, but in the second wave also we saw that they were not prepared. So I think that was the sad part.
Exactly. And India was the last country where COVID came, because
Yeah.
we have seen a lot in other countries. So I think we should have been more prepared, like how to tackle this, but we were not. And that
Exactly.
that was so bad.
It was very bad. Like we were not prepared on the state government level, we were not prepared on the union government level.
Central
We were
government.
just like,
Yeah.
let's see where it goes. So
We were just trying to prepare on our family level only, like how to save our
yeah.
own family or how to save ourselves only. other than that, we were being so selfish because that's how it was
Yeah,
so
yeah.
pathetic. So
Exactly.
okay,
I mean,
yeah,
we saw so many cases of violence and everything for oxygen cylinders and things like that, even for basic injections and things like that. I was very surprised, like
yes,
that people can be that heartless when they want to save themselves or save their family. So they didn't care about
exactly.
anything else apart from it. So yeah, I think that's scary and that's sad. That's very, very sad and pathetic, as you said. So regardless, how's
That's
the
scary
situation now?
because people were like, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that was very pathetic and scary because people were like, common people are doing this just for the sake of oxygen. They are not even thinking about anyone else. So that was more scary when you watch that video on like on TV or on Facebook, wherever it is. It was like disturbing to mind, and we all had lost our peace of mind. The COVID was somewhere else. These things are somewhere else. So it was all like
Miserable.
what should I say? Messed up. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Actually, at that time, we were seeing so many cases. The media coverage was the scariest part because they were just showing all the negative things that were happening, and it was very hard to believe that we'll survive out of this. So that's definitely there. Media plays an important role, and I think they will
Yeah.
take it seriously.
Yes. And being a human being, I think we are born to attract to negative things first rather than positive things. I think that's our mindset. And like, no matter how much you studied or how much you are listening about the positive things, like you should always think positive, but still you always want to know about like how it happened, and
Yeah.
how it will get impacted rather than how to
True.
solve it. So it's very basic.
Yeah, I mean, we always, no matter how optimistic we are, we still see the bad sides of the situation.
Hmm.
We see what worst can happen,
Yes.
what's the worst that can happen, and then we act accordingly, right? So in COVID, I think that happened. People observed that if we don't protect our family, nobody else will, because as we just discussed, that the government hadn't planned anything. So if the government has not planned anything, it's like we have to take actions for ourselves. And as selfish as it is, I think it's okay also because if it comes down to it,
Yeah,
I will first
because
have to protect my family. I can't protect everyone.
exactly, exactly. We cannot blame anyone because situation was like that only. We had to stand for ourselves and our families only, and we did that.
Yeah, exactly. But I do remember. I think the bad part on the human part, like on our part, on common people's part, was that people had started to sell oxygen cylinders and injections in black. So they were selling it
So
for a very high price. That was the bad part. I think we could have ignored that. We shouldn't have done that. It led to a
that
lot of
was the worst thing. That
that
was
was
the worst thing.
yeah.
Yes.
So that's definitely there. I think it caused a lot of limitations because in hospitals there were no gas cylinders, but then there were black men who had loads and loads of oxygen cylinders. So I was like, if that would not have happened, the like hospital could have saved so many more lives. So that's there.
Yes, exactly. And after that, again, common people are blaming to the hospitals. But here again, some part of common people is doing this with you. So this was all confusing. Like, why is it happening and how to get out of it? That was a really bad situation. I just hope that we will not get into that situation again.
Yeah, honestly, yes. Never want to live through it again. But I mean, we had
Yes,
like a lot of technology and everything to distract us the entire times. But even after that, staying at home for that long period of time was very difficult. Like the entire lockdowns, just sitting at home, worried if we can ever go out again or not. I think that was the
yes,
sad part as well. What about you? How did you spend your lockdowns? Like, I love asking this question because everybody has different answers. How did you spend your lockdown?
yes. Spending lockdown was like, of course, I was working. Fortunately, I was working only. I did not like lose my job.
Hmm.
So it was not that difficult for me. It is just weekends where I was feeling like going out and I was not able to. But then again, like the situation was bad, so I was trying to be happy with my family or my own space. I tried to learn something like of course, in lockdown only, I thought of like working on my English communication, and I started that. I started my YouTube channel, and like yeah, there were so many things, so it was not that difficult for me. Just wave two, when when my mother and I got infected with COVID. That was the only bad time. Otherwise, it was just okay. Okay, I cannot say that like it was
Right,
pathetic. No, because I'm not a person who always want to go out and hang out with friends. I like to stay home. So
right.
yeah, it was fine.
Makes sense. Fair enough. So you also got affected. So how did you guys deal with it? Like, were
Yes.
you hospitalized or were you staying at home and quarantining?
I was I stayed at home only,
Right.
quarantine. But my mom was badly infected, and doctor has given us 1 day time. If she will not recover within a day, we will have to admit her, and there were no beds available. So I was my mom's support system, and she recovered quickly. Like within a day, she had taken all her medicines, and like she has boosted up all her what should I say,
Her
energy
immunity.
or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, her immunity, and that was from that day onwards. I'm like, my mom is actually superhuman. She can do anything, because doctor was like very negative. I cannot say negative. He was very realistic. Like this
Yeah.
can happen, and I was very scared, of course.